turn that on. I apologize for that. Okay, so those, great. Okay, so let's start again. Eric Lee and Bruce from Victoric. We want to bring you another VE Live edition. This time, we're going to be sharing with you a renovation that we're doing right now in the west side of Vancouver. Very complicated reno. We pretty much gutted everything here, right, Bruce? Yes? Okay.
Yeah, pretty much everything's out.
Great. And, you know, one of the requirements of the client is that they wanted this really amazing set of stairs. They wanted this one-of-a-kind, super cool design for a stair, and that's what we came up with. So we'll post that on right now to show you what that design is. We'll put the floor plan first so you understand it, and then we'll give you a 3D of what the stair looks like. And then Bruce and I will walk through the design of the stairs and how to build such a complicated stair, which I think you guys would all be interested in. So we're gonna post that on, and you should see it now. But yeah, a floor plan, this is the main floor that you're seeing, and it's an open plan, kitchen, living room, dining, and a den towards the side. This stair is in the middle of the house, and it needs to be a showpiece. And it's really seen from all sides of the house. So what you can see from the 3D of the stairs is that there's, what we've done is we've create the seemingly floating stair. Seems to be floating, and also the only thing holding it up are these glass, floor-to-ceiling glass on each side. So you can see it in the 3D there. And you're like wondering, wow, that's a great design. But how does it get supported? So let's dive into that for our VE Live. And we'll kind of share that with you and all the complications that come with such a complicated design. You know, that's the problem with designers. We think up these great, beautiful things, but then it's going to be built. So how does it actually get built? So let's walk through the structural design. This is the stairs right now. This is a temporary set of construction stairs. It's not the final thing, because the final stair is floating treads. So it's all open. And that landing is not that chunky. We've reduced that landing by quite a bit. But this is just a temporary set of construction stairs that we put in just for the time being. And then the fabricated set of stairs will come in near the end, right, Bruce? Is that what
almost at the very end? Yeah.
Great. Okay. So yeah, you must be wondering, okay, that's a great design, but how does it get supported? So what we designed is this landing will have a structural metal frame. That reduces the bulk, and it will come off the back wall and also the side, and then the glass panels will be on this side where the kitchen is. So this whole thing will be full height glass, and that's structural glass. So it's got to be engineered, and it's supporting not only the landing, but also every single riser that comes through. So Bruce, why don't you share with us, first of all, what are some general complications with such a extensive renovation, and then we'll dive a bit into the stairs.
Sure. So this is actually quite an old home, and one of the things about old homes is they're not level, they're not square, and you know, generally everything's just not quite true. So one of the big problems with doing that is, of course, when you're going to put something as complicated as this set of stairs in here, is trying to get everything leveled, squared, and true, and also making sure there's enough support for it. So this house actually had extensive amount of.
Sorry, Bruce. Come over here because then you're gonna instantly.
Okay, sure.
Perfect. Okay.
So this house has a lot of structural metal steel added to it, and to make the supports, and also to create the open floor plan that the owner wished to have. And yeah, so probably the biggest challenge with an old house like this is just trying to get everything, you know, straight and level and square. When you're dealing with a set of stairs, it's obviously built in factory and is very, very precise. So everything has to be perfectly ready on site to make to that set of stairs.
Right. So with this stair specifically, in terms of build complexity, let's talk a bit about that and see what were some things we had to overcome. For instance, the glass panels, we were hoping that it would be minimal and there would be just a U channel on the top and bottom, like how we do new houses. But I think when the stair tray came in, we lasered the floor and it wasn't quite level.
Yeah, especially for this atrium over here. That was, I think, one of the bigger challenges over there. That just everything was so off plumb that everything had to basically be ripped apart and redone, which obviously adds cost and a bit of extra time.
Yeah. So with this stair design, we had to give up the U channel, and instead they needed to have wood stops instead. So we designed a wood stop system, which allows them to have one stop mounted, slide the stairs in, support each tread, and then close it on the other stop. We were hoping that they can slide the glass from the front end, but that's not the case because every single tread is also supported on there. So just the level of adjustment that needs to be for that does not allow us to do that. So that was one of the complications. And then of course, the client also threw an extra challenge as if this design is not challenging enough. He said, hey, can I not have this landing support on the walls? He wanted like actually floating. And we had to explain to him that we can make it visually look floating, but structurally the laws of physics still apply and that's still required. So there's the 3D that you can see there for the design that we came up with. And you can see now what I'm talking about, where each tread is what we call open riser, and you see right through. And part of the reason for that is there's this beautiful light with the window at the back that we wanted to bring light through. So we wanted that visual opening, and it's an open plan generally. And then you can see that the piece of glass on the left there is supporting not just the landing, but every single tread. So yeah, that's our solution for this complicated design to be built. Anything you want to add about the construction on this?
On the stairs? Not sure. Anything else?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think generally speaking, some lessons to be learned here and some tips for all of you guys watching is when you do a renovation, make sure that you are having a good team behind you. And that's both design and construction. Because designing renovations needs a bit more fluidity than a new house. And then of course your build team needs to be very exact with these old homes. Any other tips you would give around renovations?
One thing to consider too, obviously, is the under the landing still needs to have a fire sprinkler. So that's obviously one thing you always need to plan for and allow for, so there has to be some connection point. To Eric's other point, we have done stairs before where we actually have done landing completely floating and completely supported by the glass. But that obviously wouldn't work in this case because we don't have glass on this section of the wall here. So that's where they developed a little hidden channel that will make it look like it's floating, but not actually be floating.
Right. Yeah. So that's great. So that's my biggest tip is have a good team behind you. The more complicated your reno, the more your team needs to be performing. If you're doing a simple reno like a kitchen cabinet, that's easy. But when you get to this scale, you pretty much need someone that's behind your back. And when you get a complicated design, it's important to have a design build team. The reason for that is designers can dream up whatever, but can it really be built? That's the test of a good team. So you can have these crazy designs, but you gotta be able to build it. And a design build team like us can definitely pull that off for you. We have a bit of time, so maybe what I'll do is I'll kind of pan the camera so you can see where we're at with this renovation. And Bruce can maybe just share with us which parts were gutted. Like it's pretty much everything, right? So I'll just pan the camera now.
One thing more about the stairs too, with as Eric said, the design build team is important. And the build team has to have a good relationship with their subcontractors. Not every contractor can build a set of stairs this complicated, and not every contractor is probably even willing to. So having a good team that has solid relationships with their contractors that can do something, it's pretty challenging and also quite unique, is very important.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the stairs, of course, and now let's pan around a little bit. Bruce, if you don't mind just kind of pointing and tell the audience what was ripped out. Pretty much this whole main floor was ripped out except that column, isn't it?
Yeah, so everything's pretty much been deleted, but you can see other than this one column here, there's no structure on the main floor. A little bit of wing wall there by the entry, another column there. But yeah, everything is gone. This millwork here does hide another bit of structural steel and a few things. But when it's done, you won't see that, so it appears that it's just a piece of millwork and entry closet sitting there.
Okay, and then this is the great room that you're looking into right now. We've expanded it all, and even that old brick masonry chimney, we ripped that out, didn't we?
Yeah, that was completely removed and gutted. The owner was debating to actually remove the entire chimney. In the end, decided not to, and we made a three-sided fireplace around it that will look really good. I don't know if Lena has that image.
No, but that's okay.
Okay.
Okay, so then panning around here, what we've got is we've got the kitchen here. So we pretty much gutted this whole thing. We expanded this window to a much larger one, and there's a backyard that we're doing landscape work on. But this is all new kitchen. Yeah, pretty much everything down to studs, down to wire, everything was replaced. So that's the level of renovation this one is. So I hope you enjoyed that VE Live, and I hope that you got something from it, some tips. But yes, if you have any questions specific to this renovation, that's the floor plan there that we threw up there. But you have specific questions towards this renovation, reach out to us. Find us on Instagram, on Facebook, or contact us directly, info@victeric.com, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you have, maybe about your renovation. We're happy to be there. Thank you.